Alright. So Dragon Ball, it's more to Dragon Ball than Z. Like Dragon Ball Z is a large part of the era of Dragon Ball's history. But it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. We now have Dragon Ball. We now have Dragon Ball Z. We now have Dragon Ball GT. We have Dragon Ball Super. And we have Dragon Ball Daima. That gives us 5 different Dragon Ball animes. I don't even want to get into the manga because it gets complicated. Now, if you want to dive into the manga, you can say there is no DBZ because the Dragon Ball manga was just called Dragon Ball. The first chapter when Goku meets Bulma to the last chapter when he flies off with Uma, it was purely Dragon Ball. Z was more of an anime marketing term, but for this video I just want to speak amongst the animes. We can go into mangas, we can go into video games, we can go all that stuff later. For now I just want to speak to the animes. And we're talking about Dragon Ball. Like I said, we have the OG Dragon Ball, we have DBZ, we have Dragon Ball GT, we have Dragon Ball Super, and we have Dragon Ball Daima. And I'm not saying they go in any specific order. I'm not here to debate what's canon, what's not canon. I just kind of named them in the order they were released. And the reason I say there's more to life to Dragon Ball Z is because I feel like every Dragon Ball production or piece of media that comes out gets compared to Z. Now this may just be my bias as an American, as I know a lot of us in the USA started off with DBZ, and I'm a 90s baby, I'm an early 90s baby. I grew up in the era before it was access to internet. We watched what was given us still on TV, and all we got was that Funimation dub with the hard rock. Now, the big reason I'm saying there's different Dragon Ball animes is because Dragon Balls, I feel like, has ingrained themselves in a lot of minds as this hardcore shonen anime, and it's deeper than that. Yes, you can kind of argue that the DBZ era was hardcore shonen, fights, tension, stakes, but Dragon Ball is deeper than that. If we want to go back to just the original themes, we can honestly say that Dragon Ball was about adventure, it was about magic, it was about comedy, it was about life lessons, and it was about action. Okay, and the reason why I say Dragon Ball is deeper than Z is because not every Dragon Ball production is going to be a super serious fighting, blood, hardcore shonen anime. We have 200 something episodes of Dragon Ball Z. As far as we have it, that's the largest part of Dragon Ball. But for Akira Toriyama and his message, it's deeper than that. It's deeper than just this hardcore, action-packed, brutal, bloodthirsty anime. And sometimes the other themes show. Like, it's a lot of people that's never even watched the OG Dragon Ball. They say they can't get into it because it was an adventure. It got a little serious at the end, but it was about adventure and magic and mysticism. DBZ really delved into the heart, and that's why I think they marketed it as a different show. Even though the manga was still called Dragon Ball, once Raditz showed up, the anime went to DBZ because the thing started to change a little bit. Now I'm gonna speak on GT first. GT really tried to bring the sense back of adventure, and those first 20 or so episodes, which people tend to hate the most, was GT trying to bring that back. Now I'm not going to debate whether they did a good job or not. I don't want to debate that, but it did try to bring back that feeling of adventure. And It seemed like it didn't go well. I'm assuming that's what happened, because pretty much once Baby Vegeta into the end, it went more similar to the DBZ roots. But at the beginning, and if you ever watched the opening intro, the original Dragon Ball GT Japanese opening intro, not the American hardcore rap, but the original Japanese Dragon Ball GT intro, you'll see that they were trying to bring back the adventure. Because like I said, there's different parts to Dragon Ball. There's adventure, there's comedy, there's magic, there's life lessons to be learned. And the original Dragon Ball was almost the perfect blend of all of it. And that's why a lot of hardcore fans vouch that OG was the best, because it just had that perfect balance of adventure, of comedy, of mysticism, of your shonen fights, action. It was the perfect of stakes. It was the perfect blend. Some people argue DBZ is better, but I feel like it's better if you just want to watch a hardcore shonen anime. And now she'll talk about Super, which is, oh my gosh, it's super controversial. So first of all, I don't want to talk about the art style, okay? I don't want to talk about the art style, because that's a result of short production time and overworked staff. But I want to talk about the themes of Super. What Super really brought back was the lightheartedness, the comedies, the jokes. I kind of feel like rewatching Super and rewatching OG Dragon Ball, I kind of feel like Dragon Ball Super pretty almost had more comedy than the OG Dragon Ball. And when I say that, some people may disagree, but like I feel like the OG Dragon Ball, as comedic as it was a nice balance. It blended in well. Superman is just, it's a joke fest. It's a joke fest, and I see up until pretty much Tournament Power, and I can see why that turns people off. It's a joke fest. It's funny. But as far as the themes of Dragon Ball, Super is not DBZ Part 2. Super is his own thing, and Super is about the comedic energy. That's one of those shows you kind of watch, and you gotta watch it. It's funny, like I'm gonna tell you, Dragon Ball Super makes me laugh more than any of the other shows. It's just funny, but you have to be able to open up and not go into it with this super serious mindset. You're about to watch DBZ Part 2, because you're not. And the people want to get into the OG Dragon Ball, I can't. You gotta look at that the same way. It's not going to be this super serious shonen. But Super really brought back the comedy. I mean, the banter between Whis and Beerus never gets old. Vegeta was struggling against Vegeta, and then he insulted him, and boom, he got ringed out. They really brought the jokes back. They really brought the comedy. And even though I will agree with people when they say DBZ was better, Super will make you laugh. Super will make you laugh. You don't like to laugh? I don't know what to say, but Super will make you laugh, and it does a good job. Did they ramp it up too hard sometimes? Did they make Goku not as serious as he should be? Yeah, we can argue that. They did. But at the same time, boy, was it funny. And Goku brought his troll level to the top. I like to say he was in midlife crisis. You ever met people, sometimes they're super serious in their 20s, once they get in their 30s and 40s, they scale it back, start to become dads, start to become goofy. So Goku was definitely on his goofy stuff in Super, and I feel like a lot of people's gripes. But in order to really enjoy, you need to understand it's not DBZ Part 2. You gotta understand that it's the comedy aspect. That's what it does well. It does the comedy aspect well, but it blends it in to the shonen. It's not DBZ and it's not OG Dragon Ball. I feel like Super has more action fighting than OG Dragon Ball, but it puts a lot more comedy into the fights. It's like, I can't describe it. It's his own thing, but it nails the comedy aspect well. Like I said, the original Dragon Ball nails everything. Adventure, mysticism, shonen, comedy, magic. DBZ, it does shonen in stakes, high stakes really well. Super, if I'm rating it, it's comedy. I give it, it's funny. It's funny, like Beerus's, I mean, come on, think about the Monica gag. Monica had us fooled, man. Beerus talking about this dude is the strongest dude he ever fought. He's trolling us the whole time. That Monica joke, the episode when Mr. Satan pretended, act like he was the one that beat Beerus. You gotta understand the whole Rosie in the Tournament of Power making fun of Super is they troll. And I feel like a lot of the fan base got trolled watching it, and they took it too serious. And you gotta realize they were trolling. Now I want to talk about Daima, because I'm gonna tell you what Daima does really well. Is Daima, in my opinion, so far, has brought back that great sense of adventure, of mysticism. It's nailing it. It's magical. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's not DBZ, and the reason I say that is because anytime something with Dragon, it gets compared to DBZ. People just post pictures, Super Saiyan Goku be like, Dragon Ball was better back in the day. No, that's Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball is a much broader term, and that's why none of these shows have been called Dragon Ball Z since then. But Dragon Ball Daima nails the magic, it nails the adventure much better than GT, and it nails the mysticism, the joy of youthfulness. That's what Daima does. But they all do their different things well. But you gotta understand that Dragon Ball is more than just fighting. It's more than just action. It's more than just this hardcore shonen. It's deeper than that. And depending on what mood you're in, you can kind of gravitate to what you want to watch. When you want to watch, sometimes I'm in a serious mood. I want to watch the stakes, the bloody fights, the tension. I'm watching DBZ. Sometimes I just want to watch the game. Sometimes I just want to watch Kid Goku just be a goof. And you know, Master Roshi trolling some goofy martial arts tournaments. I'm watching OG Dragon Ball. GT, that's still a tough one, because like I said, it started with adventure, and then at the end it's like it tried to be DBZ, but it just wasn't as good. But sometimes I'm in the mood for GT too, man. And then Super is just when I want to laugh. Like I'll spark, you know, I don't want to talk about it, but if anybody messes with the greenies, you should understand what I'm saying. You do that, you put on some Super, man, you're gonna have a good night. Order some pizza. Super's like dessert. Super's like dessert. You know, dessert's not always good for you. You can't eat cake all the time, but sometimes you just want to enjoy your cake. And in Dragon Ball Daima, it's only 3 episodes in so far. Probably 4 by the time I get this video uploaded, but it's just this magical sense of adventure. It actually brings me the same feelings I experienced watching the OG Dragon Ball, but it's actually a little darker. And I think that's why OG Dragon Ball's fans are raving Daima. But again, you gotta understand, it's not DBZ. You can't go into all of these shows, and that's probably why like some of the most hardcore DBZ fans do like GT. But they don't like the beginning. They say and it makes sense, because the beginning did try to be something different. It tried to be an adventure, and I feel like it just went into DBZ part 2 towards the end. Like it became edgy. Stakes were high, Earth's being destroyed. I still remember when Omega Shenron impaled Vegeta. Like, that show was brutal. It definitely became darker. And yeah, you just gotta learn to enjoy each one for what it is. Okay? Because don't forget, it started off as a gag manga. It's many flavors of Dragon Ball, and I feel like we always get caught up in these debates about this is better than this is better than that, this is better than this. It's like pick your flavor. You know, sometimes I'm in the mood for pizza, sometimes I'm in the mood for a cheeseburger. If I'm in the mood for a cheeseburger, pizza not gonna satisfy me. If I'm in the mood for tacos, a burger not gonna satisfy me. And that's how you gotta look at Dragon Ball. Because I don't think none of it's bad. It's all good. But you gotta pick your flavor. You gotta know what you're in the mood for. And some people don't like different flavors. Some people only want one thing. And if DBZ is your peak Dragon Ball, you gotta accept that style of exactly what that was is probably not going to come back. But I do have good news for you. As a fan of the Super manga, if the later half of the manga gets animated, talking about the Moro and Granola arcs, those hardcore DBZ fans might get their wish, because out of everything I've read and watched of Dragon Ball, I don't know how many of you have delved into the manga, but that's part 2 of the manga is the closest thing to DBZ I've felt since the DBZ era. So those hardcore DBZ fans might finally get their wish. But just try to enjoy Diamond for now. You know what I'm saying? Because Akira Toriyama wanted to be, I felt like he wanted to be remembered, and he wanted Dragon Ball to be remembered as fun, energetic, magical, adventurous, and that's why he gave us, and he poured his heart into it. So I think people should appreciate it. But if you don't like it, that's fine. Just like if you don't like Super, you don't have to like nothing. Not everybody like tacos, not everybody like burgers. Some people only like pizza. But Dragon Ball has its different flavors and its different styles. And I feel like a true fan should really be able to appreciate all of it. But if you hate certain aspects and you can't stand certain aspects, I definitely understand where you're coming from. And there's no hard feelings. But remember, Dragon Ball is way more than this hardcore shonen anime manga. It's about adventure, it's about magic, it's about life lessons, it's about eternal youth, it's about comedy. It's about so much more than just fighting and non-stop tension. Yes, that's good too, but sometimes you just gotta appreciate everything. That's it. Jumbo James over and out.